Hello, and welcome back to another episode of She Busy. I'm Asia, and today's topic is one that hits close to home for many of us, especially those who, like me, are running brick and mortar businesses. And we're talking about the guilt that comes with growth and how I pretty much deliberately kept myself stuck because I was afraid of what stepping back would look like to my clients, to my staff, and for my business. So, as a brick and mortar business owner specifically, although we can use these for any business owner, the pressure to always be present on site can be overwhelming. It's this constant need for face-to-face time, right? The belief that you have to be available to everyone, clients, staff, vendors, and you have to be there around the clock. And I felt that so deeply because there's kind of this unspoken rule that if you're not physically there, things are going to fall apart. And sometimes when you've been there around the clock and held on for long enough in that position, you almost give that impression to others that, hey, if she's not on site, things are probably going to fall apart. That's why she's here so often. And they may not even realize that's what they're thinking. And you may not even realize that that's the impression that you're giving off. But for your clients and for your team, that can start to happen. And I know that this image and that this mindset is a hard one to overcome because I've done it myself. And for years, I thought that being successful meant that I had to be in and at my business every single day, managing every single detail. If a customer had a question, I needed to be there to answer it. If an employee had a problem, I needed to be on site so I could solve it. That ended up leaving me with zero time to work on growing the business, as you can imagine. So then I'd get home, I'd put my kids to bed, and then I'd get to working on the things that were on my own to-do list that I wasn't able to get to throughout the day because of all the interruptions that I'm having or people just needing me or me feeling like I needed to give that face-to-face time to everybody. And so I was working endlessly long hours, literally all day long. And I was growing, sure, but my progress forward did not reflect the number of hours I was actually putting in. And during that time, I hadn't actually fully embraced the idea of streamlining my operations and pulling myself out of the day to day like I have now. But I was starting to have this little inkling that the way I was running my business wasn't sustainable and that I needed to create time during working hours to be able to work on the business. I couldn't spend the entire time on site working in the business. But that inkling in my heart and in my head was actually met with some serious resistance because the biggest part of that was the fear of how others would see me if I took a step back. Would my clients think I didn't care anymore? Would they worry that the quality of service would suffer? Would my staff feel that they were abandoned or that they were less supported? And would my culture take a hit? Questions like these kept running over and over in my head on a loop. And I felt like I was failing as a leader if I wasn't the one handling everything. Toilet broke, here I am, had to YouTube a video on fixing a 15-year-old commercial toilet, but that seems like an entirely good use of my time, right? Someone called in, let me jump in, help rearrange the schedule, spill in the lobby, hand me that mop. And while I'm not discrediting the importance of being able to jump in and do any position and to take pride in doing jobs that are technically less than your pay grade, I am saying that that shouldn't be the bulk of your day because let's be honest, you're not going to be able to move your business forward. You'll never have the mental space to be the visionary that your business needs. And even more importantly, you will miss out on the very reason that you started business in the first place, right? Freedom. That's what we talk about all the time. Freedom to spend time with your family, to pursue other passions, or just to take a breath. But oh my gosh, that guilt, because growth can feel guilty, especially when it means pulling away from the parts of your business that you've been so hands-on with. And I felt it too. I thought that stepping back would make me seem disconnected, like I was leaving them hanging, leaving my team and my clients hanging. But that guilt is so real. And no lie, I still sometimes feel that way. But what I realized and what I have to consistently remind myself of, and what I want you to understand, is that letting go isn't just about you. It's also about empowering your team. How many times have I talked about that? You hovering is not only a crutch for them, but it can also make it seem like you don't trust them. I think it was in that book, 10X is easier than 2X. It's a book that I probably reference way more often than I should, but he talks about how your team will never be able to truly step up until you leave. By stepping back and actually leaving the premises as a brick and mortar business owner, you're giving them their real opportunity to step up. You're showing them that you trust them and that you want them and are fine with them being the face of your business when you're not there. And I know that doesn't necessarily come easy. The trust doesn't come easy. It's hard to believe that anyone will care about your business as much as you do. And yes, it's true that no one will actually be able to do it exactly like you do, but that's not the point. Your team is there to support your vision, but for them to do that, you have to let them, and you have to lead them, and you have to show what you want the face of the business to look like in order for them to take that on. Because if your long-term vision is to grow and scale, you should be the theoretical face of your business. But if your business relies on people seeing your actual physical face on site all the time, you cannot scale. It is absolutely impossible. You can't scale your business or your life. And look, I'll never stop talking about what it takes to streamline your business for scaling, the team building, the leadership skills, the systems, the processes, all of it. But one of the biggest challenges in any endeavor, and especially in this one, is mindset. I struggled with all of that. The worry of being needed, of not being needed, the worry that they won't believe in or execute the vision if I'm not the face, that I'll lose their respect, that the thought that I need to be there was consistent in my brain. I need to be there. I need to. And I put a lot of pressure on myself with that. And eventually my being on site became more of my identity than being the visionary and the leader and the actual CEO and business owner. And that was never going to make a dent in the way that I wanted to live and run my business. And look, I'd like to say that your clients and your staff will understand once you're there less. I know that's a big fear of everyone's, and it was of mine too. But the truth is, not all of them will. You're going to lose people in this next level of growth, and it sucks, but you can't hold yourself back from what you deserve and from growing and evolving and changing just because you can't take everyone with you to the next level. Not everyone's going to understand what you're trying to do. But that next level is for you. You started this business. You need to and want to get to the next level. And you have to keep that in mind and remember that. So to all my entrepreneurs who are listening, especially those with the brick and mortar space, I want you to know that leaving the property doesn't mean you are abandoning your business. It means that you're finally allowing yourself to be the CEO that your business needs. It means you're embracing growth, not just for your business, but for yourself. And if you've been struggling with the guilt of pulling back or the fear of how it will look, remember this, that true leadership isn't about being present 24/7. It's about setting up your business so it can thrive without you having to be there every single minute. So thank you so much for joining me today on She Busy. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with another entrepreneur who might want to hear it. I know that the guilt that we feel, especially as women, as we're leveling up is so significant and can make it really difficult for us to actually take the steps needed to make it to the next level, no matter how badly we want to get there. So thank you again for listening, and until next time.